Few brands release top-tier flagship IEMs with the consistency and regularity of Noble Audio, and each one seems to build on some aspect of a previous model. Today, we have Noble's latest, a follow-up to the Katana, the Noble Ronin. If you followed Noble Audio's IEMs, you may have noted that there already was a follow-up to the Katana, the Noble Khan, and subsequent Kublai Khan. So Ronin is sort of like an alternate timeline follow-up, where if instead of following it up with a tribrid, piezo super tweeter, dynamic bass IEM, they had gone instead with a balanced armature EST follow-up to Katana. So now that Ronin has made the multiversal jump and we have it here, how does it stack up with the current crop of flagship IEMs? Let's take a closer look. Ronin is a resin shell IEM with this marbled gray, black, and blue design in it. Pictures and video don't entirely do this justice. It looks amazing in person. This does look really cool on video as well. And another big highlight of this is the cable, which was created specifically for Ronin by Elitech. So it's alternates strands of silver-plated copper, you can see the silver strands, and gold-plated copper in the blue strands. And this has the usual sort of craftsmanship and attention to detail that you would expect from Elitech in things like the Y-split. This is the details on the plug here. Comes terminated 4.4 by default. The IEM itself is on the larger side, so just watch out if you've got smaller ears. It's not a particularly deep insertion there, just a generally large IEM. It's a really cool design. In terms of the package, we have just the demo, so we don't have the full retail package, but you can expect a high quality case and other things on the level of IEMs like Viking Ragnar and the Noble Sultan for the full retail package. If you've watched a few of our reviews, you may have gathered I tend to prefer a slightly warmer sound with maybe some bass emphasis, and I can be a little sensitive to aspects of treble. Now, Ronin is bright, energetic treble, more neutral bass. So not exactly my cup of tea typically, but it didn't really take very long for Ronin to win me over. The bass itself has a more neutral, linear sort of presentation, but it does deliver excellent texture and it's very highly accurate. So now it's not going to have the impact of a dynamic driver bass, and this isn't a situation like the 64 Audio U12T where they've sort of captured dynamic driver-like attributes in a balanced armature bass. This is pure balanced armature bass, which again means you get that clean, fast, excellent texture, and Noble really nails these aspects where you don't have that physical impact, but there's still an almost tactile feeling to things like the stick hitting the skin of the drum or a timpani, and so you still get this very physical feeling nature to a lot of this impact, if not the physical air moving that you can get out of a dynamic driver. The mid-range is rich, thick, filled with detail. The timbre is solid, if just slightly bright. Your vocals are well placed in the mix, just slightly forward with a very personal, intimate feeling. There's a lot of emotion captured in the vocals. Really does kind of feel like you're getting that front row seat in the studio, the way the vocals are delivered. The treble is the real star of the show here. It's just this stunning, vivid top end. It demonstrates just resolution, air, definition, excellently constructed treble with all of these incredible technical qualities there. And Ronin gets this sort of visceral feeling in the treble where you can feel the high notes, whether it's a violin, whether it's the vocalist hitting the high note. There's that physical feeling that'll give you chills, but mostly the good kind of chills. With that treble, it's very revealing, but also somewhat unforgiving. So if you're listening to, high resolution versions of well-mastered, well-recorded tracks, it's amazing. It's just pulling all of that detail out for you. With some older recordings, lower budget operations, things that weren't mixed or mastered as well, you're gonna pick up on those recording artifacts, and Ronin can end up highlighting some of the unpleasant aspects of the recording as well. With Ronin, those revealing and highly lifelike upfront aspects of the delivery go hand in hand with the imaging. And few IEMs I've ever heard have offered this sort of, just again, highly tactile, vividly holographic imaging that Ronin does. Whether it's a guitar, a violin, vocals, anything, it really puts you in the room in a three-dimensional space with these holographically presented images and voices right there with you. While it's more than 2 years old now, Empire Ears Odin still very much feels like the quintessential flagship IEM with its tribrid design, technical performance, and versatility. And we also brought in the Fourte Blanc, which is almost like the inverse of Ronin, where Ronin is a hybrid that uses balanced armature for the bass and mids with ESTs for the highs. Fourte Blanc is a hybrid that uses balanced armatures for the mids and highs and a dynamic driver for the lows. In terms of the build and design on these three, Ronin and Odin are very close just in the overall design principles, kind of being larger resin IEMs. The footprint on Ronin is a little bit larger than Odin, as you can see. So I think the insertion depth is a little deeper on Odin. These both also come with their own sort of unique cables here. Odin has the symbol here in this black cloth wrapped cable. And again, Ronin has this Elitech blue and silver alternated one. I like the feel a little bit better on the Elitech cable in terms of, you can kind of see how this one kind of tangles a little easier on the Odin. Still a solid cable in terms of the construction and sound, a little bit of a nicer feel on Ronin's cable. Of course, Fourte is a little bit of the odd man out here. The aluminum shell design, the faceplate, kind of ties in with these other ones a little bit more. Now, Fourte Blanc also comes with, this is the cable that's in the box, but there's an additional cable that ships with Fourte Blanc we don't have here, that's a little bit nicer than this as well, a silver cable. But again, really quality packages in all three. Fourte Blanc is definitely the smallest and the easiest fit. And Ronin and Odin are kind of a toss-up on the fit between the deeper insertion on Odin and the just bigger overall shell of Ronin. In a lot of ways, these three IEMs almost serve as the platonic ideal of an IEM comparison, where Fourte Blanc has the dynamic driver load, a little bit of bass emphasis, a more organic sound that maybe tends more towards warmth. Odin is sort of in the middle. Again, it has some of those characteristics of Fourte in terms of the dynamic driver bass, but also leans more towards the technical end and can be a little bright at times as well. And then Ronin just kind of leans into the more technical, fast, highly resolving, bright end of the spectrum in this. And so they really offer a kind of a spread on the comparison here. In the bass, Fourte Blanc has the biggest physically dynamic presence in the low end. In spite of Odin actually having 2 dynamic drivers, Fourte Blanc just has a little more emphasis down there, delivers a little bit more bass. Again, Odin, very strong, fast, technical bass, and it has those dynamic drivers, so in the right circumstances, it's gonna move a little bit of air, and it's gonna give you some of that physical impact. Ronin, with its balanced armature design, again, it's a more neutral bass. It's not gonna give you that strong physical impact or rumble, but it is gonna give you loads of texture and a really strong detail level in the bass. In the mid-range, again, Fourte Blanc is giving you this full, rich, more organic feeling mids, while Odin and Ronin go in a similar direction where there's this really intense layering and detail there. And again, as you move up into the mid-range, you get this up in the upper mid-range, you get this little bump that really brings vocals forward and can give you some more of that intensity, some more of that holographic feeling there. But there is some sacrifice to timbre that you can hear in comparison with the Fourte Blanc, where the Fourte Blanc, I think, has a stronger timbre through the mids, while Ronin and Odin feel more technically proficient there in terms of, you know, the micro details, the layering, and those aspects of it. And this is where I think the 3 can start to become a little bit polarizing. Fourte Blanc has a pretty well-balanced, mostly natural feeling treble, but compared to these, it lacks, again, I keep using the word intense or intensity. There is just an intensity to the treble of both Odin and Ronin, where you have this speed, resolution, this extra bit of brightness and air that really, again, it enhances the imaging, it delivers this visceral upper end and this really intense sort of microscope revealing all of these different aspects of the song. And I think where Odin sort of maintains a little bit of balance there, where it doesn't push too far into that brightness of the treble, Ronin kind of goes all the way with it, where the technical performance that you can hear through its treble is just completely out of this world. It's some of the best you can hear in an IEM in terms of that level of resolution, the micro dynamics and the detail there. So if you want that highly revealing sound that can create some fatigue and some harsh tones, as well as some really strongly incredible emotional highs as well, Ronin really delivers that. Again, if you like that balance to be more even or maybe just a little bit more pushed towards the low end, Fourte Blanc hits that very nicely. And then in the middle, where you go for some more of that high-end revealing technical nature, but without going quite as far into it as Ronin, Odin offers a bit more versatility there between the 2. Ronin offers incredible detail, imaging, resolution, and overall performance, but it's probably not the IEM for everyone. It's definitely not the IEM for listening to some live Led Zeppelin bootlegs or underground 90s hip-hop mixtapes. But if you have a collection of high-resolution music, expertly mixed and mastered tracks, or you have a service like Qobuz, Tidal Masters, and you've got the DAC or digital audio player to go along with that, Ronin offers one of the most incredible intense looks into that music, able to just pull out every bit of detail and nuance from those tracks for just an absolutely exquisite audio experience. Thanks for watching. You can check out Ronin and a lot of other great products at bloomaudio.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.